Welcome back to number 5, episode number 5 of 4, or whatever you say. I think it's actually on number 6, but it doesn't matter. Last part of this will be how to do some undoing on all of this. One of the nice things about putting it in commands is that it's much easier to undo stuff. So I'm going to show you how we can do something like undo. So that's kind of weird. So I'm going to do some kind of, what do we call that? Some kind of composition here, where we're going to say that we have all of these different commands, but I'm going to add a new one, and I'm calling this command undo. And then we're going to say that this implements fight action. And there's an execute method. In order to undo something, I need to have the original method, right? So I'm going to say that I have a private fight action called action. And we're going to create a constructor that actually sets this action in the beginning. So what I want to do when I execute this action is that I want it to undo. So in order for this undo to work, all my fight actions need to have the undo method. Maybe I could do something like some of them, if they don't have the undo method, it won't work. This is a bad idea. It actually breaks the Liskov's substitution principle. That's probably something for another video, but for now I'm just going to break that principle, and or maybe not. I don't know yet. Let's look at it. So I can by executing an undo, I need to say that whatever action I'm doing, I need to have something like an undo method on that action. Because we need to know, I don't know inside the undo method how to undo some action. So we need to go into the actions one at a time and see, can these actions be undone? And maybe they can, maybe they can't. So let's start with the simplest one. Let's start with heal. So because undo here uses the fight action interface, we cannot use anything if it's not in the fight action interface. So we're going to add something here and saying that there needs to be an undo method on all fight actions. Wow, now they're all red. So let's do this. Go here. Just add all of them. And even the undo method needs an undo method. Okay, so that's it. Now we kind of fixed it. Almost. So I wanted to go for healing first because it's simple. So how can we undo healing? So if we look at what it actually does, it actually sets the health to target get health plus HP. So actually we can just copy this execute statement and then do the exact opposite. We get the health and we just subtract the HP, and then we could put something like undid healing for target name. So we undid healing for some name and then how much HP that was. So that's it. So that was an easy one. So what could we do? So let's go for fireball. This is the next most complicated one. So let's look at this real hard. So can we actually undo this? So there's a small problem. So for this to be undone, the shield must not have changed in the meantime. Right now, as it looks, if we look at the target here at avatar, let's just go for that. There is actually something where we can set the shield. So if someone from the outside sets the shield, it's really bad for the undo method. But I think for this case we'll just ignore it for now to show the example. We have to solve that some other way. But if this can actually change, this changes everything, and we cannot undo it except if we know what the shield was at the time that we actually did this. So shield should maybe be up here or something like that. Let's not look into that now. So if we want to undo that, we can actually take whatever we did here and we say, so first off we calculate what would the damage actually be, right? So we take this shield into consideration and calculate what would the damage be. If it's more than 0, we would also have taken the damage in the first place. Fire damage, instead of taken, we say undone. Maybe it should be here instead. Wow. Undid some fire damage by this one. And we're going to say, instead of saying we have set the health, we get the health and we add the damage instead of deleting it. So that's it. That's the opposite. So what to do with lightning? So this is exactly the same problem. It's dependent on the shield, and we have to do it for all of them. So, and there are special cases as well. What if one of these targets are actually dead? We can't undo that. There are some limitations to this right now, but let's just think that this is good. We say plus here, and then we're going to say undid this lightning damage by this target here. That's it. So now there's only one thing left. So now it's going to be really complicated, because what if we are going to undo the undone? Wow. Let's call this redo because it's much easier to understand. So if we undo something, we actually want to redo it. So what we're going to say is that if this action is, if the undo is undone, we're going to say action dot execute instead, because execute is the opposite of undo. So if we execute an undo, we undo. If we undo an undo, we execute. That's beautiful, right? So what we can do now with this undo is we can go up to our implementation. We can go in here and we can say, oh, I actually use 2 turns here, so maybe the last thing I'll do is I'm going to say gm dot add action new undo, if I can undo, and then yeah, heal. That was actually the one I wanted. I'm going to undo the healing as the last thing. Let's see if it works. So first I'm healed for 25, that was the error. So at the end I undid healing for 25. Of course I haven't tested if this actually worked, in the sense that do I actually have the correct HP and stuff like that. That's up to you to try that and see if maybe there are some errors here and there, just to show an example of how you can use undo in a setting like this. And there's certainly a lot of things to optimize. So that was it. That was the last video in this series, so hope you learned something. Bye.